We have more fragrances from MBT Perfume Boutique. In this video, we'll talk about their newly released fragrances, Prada L'Homme, Your Home Intense, and Sailing Bay. We'll also discuss their new bottles and boxes. Let's check it out. Let's start first with their newly produced boxes and bottles. The new boxes feature an abstract wave design with their logo front and center, and the texture is very glossy. The cap has a gem-like shape with a gold finish and a textured, rubber-like design. The bottle itself looks very elegant, this gem-shaped like design, which reminds me a lot of Lorraine Paris, La Haute and Mathieu collection. The label has a leather-like design and feel, adding to the premium look. Lastly, the atomizers are now pressurized. Let's start first with Prada L'Homme, since this fragrance stood out to me out of the rest. This is inspired of the EDT and Intense version. So this opens up very powdery, meron siya yung opening ng Intense version of Prada L'Homme. But immediately after it settles down on your skin, the iris will settle down and turns this fragrance into something more fresh, soapy, and powdery. And may paka-floral din siya from the violet and geranium. So basically, immediately after it settles down, it leans towards the EDT version a little bit. Amoy bawang ligo and freshly ironed clothes siya. That's how I would explain the heart of the fragrance. On the dry down, almost magkahawig na sila with the EDT version. Very clean, ambery, and earthy siya. For the performance, I get around 5 hours of longevity on my skin, within 7 hours of longevity on my clothes. As for the projection, it projects moderately for 2 hours. This fragrance is definitely a signature worthy scent, very versatile, inoffensive, and clean. You can overspray with this fragrance and you won't offend anyone, since it's not really as projecting and very light ang amoy niya. Next, we have here is Sailing Bay by Maison Margiela. So this opens up very aquatic, fresh, ozonic, and may paka-salty din siya. Despite being aquatic and salty, very light and airy din siya, and may paka-spiciness din siya. As it dries down, it turns this fragrance to something more soapy, powdery, and airy. It really reminds you a lot of sailing. The vibe I'm getting off here, it's a sunny day, and pumunta ka nag-sail, and you're wearing freshly ironed clothes na galing lang sa laundry, very powdery, fresh, you know. This is the vibe I'm getting off with Sailing Day. Although in a dry down in the fragrance, it turns into something a little bit more dark. Although it still retains being aquatic still, but it turns a little bit darker because of the seaweed and a lot of ambers, a little bit woody here. For the performance of the fragrance is actually great despite being freshy. For the performance, I get around 5 to 6 hours of longevity in my skin, within 8 hours of longevity in my clothes, within moderate projection for the first 1.5 hours. This fragrance is another of your dump rich type of fragrance, very versatile and signature worthy. Really great at the office, school, at the gym, formal events, or even at dates. Lastly, we have here is their take on Your Home Intense. This is one of the best Your Home Intense inspired I've ever tried. No hype, so let's get on to it. So the opening starts off very irisy, powdery, and waxy. So this stays until the duration of the fragrance. As it dries down, may pagka-chocolatey and fruity siya for me, which is very similar to Your Home Intense. I get that fruity and chocolatey vibe it has. Well, some batches really don't have that, but the one that I've tried, it has the chocolate and fruity feature on it. On the dry, the fragrance, it smells very powdery still, like I've said earlier, that the iris would stay until the duration of the fragrance. But wala na yung pagka-chocolate or fruity niya here. It turns the iris a little bit more creamier, in a sense, a little bit sweet. So for me, this is more kind of a little bit creamier version, or a little bit sweeter version of the Your Home Intense, which I dig. Some batches of the Your Home Intense are too waxy for me and too dry, since I don't want to smell like wax or candle wax or lipstick, you know what I mean. So I do think this is a great alternative to maybe KN Classic or Camaro Home Intense. And I forgot the other clone. I will just put it up on screen. Yeah. But the performance is quite high on my end. For some reason, all of the Your Home Intense clones inspired of are somewhat lacking in longevity. I don't really know why, but let's get onto the longevity. For the performance, it lasts around 6 hours of longevity on my skin, with a mild projection for the first 1.5 hours. Your Home Intense is suitable for colder environments and perfect for dressing up. This fragrance really shines at formal events, dates, and night out. Anyways, what do you guys think of these fragrances from MBT Perfume Boutique and their new bottles? What I've also noticed that 3 of these fragrances actually has a note of iris, which is really similar. They all have this powdery or iris feature. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.